Why don't you hear executives criticize publicly their players? It's because all that does is create negative morale around the team. It gets bitter players on your team. It creates a negative perception for future players of your team, and it drives down their value if you're trying to get rid of them. So why has Phil Jackson been one of the only executives ever to publicly criticize his best players? It's because every other executive since the dawn of time realized it's a no-win. There's no positive here. It's only a negative repercussion if we do this. And he chose to do it with not one, but 2 stars that he had and his 2 most valuable commodities. Why does that happen? Because Phil Jackson has won so much as a coach that he felt completely untouchable. He has an extraordinary ego. And with all of his success winning titles as a coach and a player, he felt like he always knew the right way to do it. But going out of your way to criticize a player as a coach is a lot different than doing it as an executive. It handcuffs you as an executive because your role as an executive is flexibility. Your role as a coach is motivation. Phil Jackson's role as an executive was not motivation. It was ridiculous to ever think that, unless Phil was going to be on the sidelines. But Phil didn't want that work, and I talked about this week. Phil didn't want to do the work. Phil wanted a cush vanity retirement job. He wanted the one place he would be a conquering hero to come back and fix Camelot and then leave on his white horse, but really not do any of the work involved in having to rebuild an organization. And that's what we had, this intersection with the Knicks, with Phil, where ego trumped everything, didn't understand his role, had no experience, and didn't want to do the work. I'll tell you this, I am shocked James Dolan is deciding to eat some of Phil Jackson's contract. I don't know what they decided on, but whatever that buyout is, he had to eat some of it. And the way James Dolan was talking over the course of the winter was, it's Phil's job. I'm not going to fire him. I'm not going to buy him out. He's got to finish his contract. And Phil had 2 more years in this contract. 2 more. The straw that broke the camel's back was that Phil was adamant, we have to buy out $50 million of Carmelo Anthony. He's got to leave, and he won't waive his no-trade clause. And James Dolan loves stars. He loves stars, and he likes Carmelo. And James Dolan finally saw the rubber hit the road and said, this is untenable. I think Phil Jackson probably gave him an ultimatum. And Phil said, we have to buy out Carmelo, or you've got to buy out me.